Hi everyone, in this video, let us discuss how to identify the conic section. So let me teach you 3 ways to identify the conic section. Number 1, using discriminants. So every conic section has a general form which is ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals to 0. Wherein CA, B, C, D, and E are the numerical coefficients and CF is the constant natin. Okay, so para malaman natin kung anong type or what type of conic section ng isang equation, pwede nating magamit yung discriminants natin. Okay? In discriminants, kailangan natin yung tatlong coefficient na A, B, and C. Remember, CA is the numerical coefficient for the x squared, CB is the numerical coefficient for the xy, and then CC is the numerical coefficient for the y squared. So, bakit natin kailangan yung A, B, and C? Kasi kung ang gagamitin natin is si discriminant, meron tayong equation na B squared minus 4AC. Okay, di ba si discriminant ay ginagamit natin kung gusto nating malaman kung may solution ba yung ating quadratic equation. If that is real or imaginary, etc. Okay? So, let us assume that our conic is not degenerate. The following conditions hold true. Number 1, if it is greater than 0, the discriminant is greater than 0. Therefore, the conic section is hyperbola. Second, if that is less than, ibig sabihin, it can be circle or an ellipse. Masasabi mo na circle siya kapag yung value ng A natin, yung numerical coefficient na A is equal to C. Ellipse naman siya kung yung A is not equal to C. Okay? And lastly, kapag equal to 0, ibig sabihin, parabola po yung ating conic section. Okay, so this is our summary. So, circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyper. So, once again, in this condition, dapat po, para masabi natin na circle, siya ay less than 0, same as ellipse. Masabi natin na circle siya kapag yung A natin ay equal. Ellipse naman kapag hindi equal. Okay, and then kapag parabola is equal, hyperbola naman is greater than 0. Okay? So let's have an example using discriminant. Determine what type of conic section the following given condition. So number 1, we have x squared plus y squared equals to 16. Once again, yung ating A is the numerical coefficient of the x squared. Si B, numerical coefficient for the xy. Si C is the numerical coefficient for the y squared. So, identify muna natin what is A, B, and C from our equation. So, since this is the x squared, ang A po natin ay nandito, which is 1, kasi may invisible 1 po dyan. And then, yung ating B is 0, kasi wala po tayong makikitang xy na term. And then, we have 1 for the C, kasi po yung y squared natin ay may numerical coefficient na 1. Okay? So, using the discriminant or yung ating first condition, we have b squared minus 4ac. Substitute lang po natin yung given. So, we have 0 squared minus 4 times 1 and times 1. So, 0 squared means 0 na po yan. So, minus 4. So, 0 minus 4 means negative 4. Compare natin siya kay 0 kasi dun po sa ating conditions, greater than, less than, and equal to 0. So, negative 4 blank to 0. So, that is less than. So, kapag less than daw ang ating lumabas, ibig sabihin meron po tayong 2 option. Pwede siyang maging circle or pwede siyang ellipse. So, para masabi natin na circle siya, dapat po yung A natin, yung value ng A natin ay equal to C. Ellipse naman siya kapag ang A is not equal to C. So, compare mo po yung A and C natin. Since this is equal, therefore, etong equation natin is a circle. Okay? So next example, y squared minus x squared equals to 2x plus 3y minus 22. So in this case, check natin yung mga terms natin kung yung x squared, y squared, and xy natin ay nasa right side of the equation. Kung nasa right side, ililipat mo siya sa left. So, kailangan po nasa left side lahat ng equation natin. So, ito, wag na po muna natin pakialaman kasi hindi naman po natin yan magagamit. Okay? So, here, meron tayong 1, negative 1 for the a kasi minus x squared po siya, meaning may invisible 1 po yan, kaya negative 1 po ang a natin. Since wala po tayong term for the xy, yung magkasamang xy, wala po. So, meaning b is 0 again. And then, ang ating y squared, may numerical coefficient po yan na 1. So, meaning yan po yung c natin. Okay, so using the discriminant, we have b squared is 0 minus 4 times negative 1 times 1. So, 0 squared means 0 and then plus 4. Kasi ito po ay negative and then times negative 1. So, magiging positive 4. So, 0 plus 4 means positive 4. Compare it to 0, that is greater than. So, pag greater than po ang ating lumabas, ibig sabihin yung ating conic section is a hyperbola. Okay, so that's how we use our discriminants to identify what type of conic section yung isang given. Okay, so next naman natin is how to identify the conic section using the product of A and C, yung ating variable A and C. So, if AC is greater than 0, okay, pwede po siyang maging ellipse or circle. So, ellipse siya daw kapag ang A natin ay not equal to C. Circle naman kapag ang A is equal to C. Okay? Provided that both x squared and y squared are present. Okay? Next naman daw natin is AC is less than 0. Hyperbola naman daw po siya. Dapat din ang x squared and y squared natin is present. Okay? And then if AC is equals to 0, provided that A and C are not both equal to 0, therefore it is a parabola. Ito naman, either x squared or y squared naman ang present. So, isa lang po sa kanila ang present. Okay, so ito po yung summary, okay, ng ating condition number 2. Okay, once again, circle and ellipse, pareho po silang greater than 0. Circle siya kapag si A is equals to C. Ellipse siya kapag ang A natin is not equal to C. Ang parabola natin ay equal to 0, provided that both A and C should not be equal to 0. And then, yung hyper natin is less than 0. A should not be equal to C also. Okay? So, kung i-compare natin siya kay condition number 1, okay, singit lang natin dito. Di ba dapat kapag circle, ang ginamit natin na equality is less than, ganun din kay ellipse. Kay parabola, pareho lang silang equal. And then kay hyper ay greater than. So, yan po yun sa condition number 1 using the discriminant. Okay? So, let's have an example how to identify the conic section using the product of AC. Okay, next example, we have 4x squared plus 3y squared plus 7x minus 2y equals to 9. Check natin yung ating quadratic terms and then yung xy kung sila ay nasa left side. So, since nasa left side naman po sila, wala na tayong kailangang ilipat pa. And then, identify na po natin yung ating A. Once again, ang A po natin is the numerical coefficient for the x squared. So, meaning, ang A po natin ay si 4. Si B naman natin is the numerical coefficient for the xy. So, as you can see, wala po tayong xy na term dito. So, meaning, B is equals to 0. And then, CC is the numerical coefficient for the y squared. So, yung y squared po natin ay may numerical coefficient na 3. So, ito po yung ating letter C. Okay? So, meron na tayong A, B, and C. Gamitin natin si condition number 2, which is the product of AC. So, kunin lang po natin yung A and C. So, we have, multiply lang po natin sila. So, we have 4 times 3 is equals to 12. And then, compare natin si 12 kay 0. So, if this is a greater than. So, based dun sa ating condition, kapag greater than daw ang ating lumabas na equality, may dalawa ka pong option. It's either circle again or ellipse. So, once again, circle siya kapag si A is equal to C, ellipse siya kapag si A is not equal to C. So, since 4 and 3 is not equal, A and C is not equal, therefore, this is ellipse. Okay? Next example, number 4. So, once again, check natin. Okay naman po. Lahat sila ay nasa left, naka-equal to 0. So, identify po natin yung A, B, and C. So, ang A natin will be 1. Ang B natin ay 0. And then, C natin is 0 also. Kasi wala po tayong makita ditong y squared. Okay, wala din po yung term natin for the xy. Kaya, 0 po sila. Okay, so using the condition number 2, product of AC. So, ang A natin ay 1. Ang C natin ay 0. So, 1 times 0 is equals to 0. So, kapag equal po sa 0, ano nga daw po yung ating conic section? Yan ay parabola. Check muna natin kung A and C natin are not both equal to 0. So, hindi naman po sila both equal to 0. Therefore, this is a parabola. Okay, so bakit hindi dapat equal to both yung A and C natin to 0? Kasi isipin nyo na lang po kung yung x squared natin ay 0 po yan, meaning wala po ito. So, ano na lang po bang natira? Ito na lang. Meaning, ano na po bang equation to? Linear equation na po yan. Okay? So, hindi po dapat both equal to 0 yung A and C natin kasi hindi na po siya linear. Okay? Ano po bang kailangan nating equation kay conic section? Kung mapapansin nyo po, puro yan quadratic equation. Okay? So, next natin is using the quadratic term. By looking or by observing the quadratic term, pwede po nating malaman kung anong type of conic section ng isang equation. So, this is the third condition natin. Okay? Or third way. Okay, number 1, if both x squared and y squared are present, kung yung dalawang quadratic term daw natin both present, so may tatlo kang option. Pwedeng ellipse, circle, and hyperbola. Okay? So, masasabi natin na yan ay circle kapag ang value ng A and C natin is equal. Ellipse naman kapag hindi equal yung A and C. But A and C should be the same sign. Okay? Kasi pareho ng classification si ellipse at si hyper na ang A is not equal to C. So, anong pinagkaiba nila? Si hyper dapat opposite sign naman po. Okay? And then last is kapag yung isa sa quadratic term is present or either x squared or y squared is present, therefore, siya po ay parabola. Okay? So, let's have an example. Number 5, 3y squared plus x minus 6y equals to 12. So, lahat naman po nung variable or term na kailangan natin ay nasa left side. So, identify na lang po muna natin yung A, B, and C natin. So, kung ang A ang hahanapin natin, wala po tayong x squared dito. So, meaning A is 0. Wala din po tayong xy na term. So, we have 0 also sa B. And then, ang C natin is equals to 3 kasi yung po yung y squared natin. Okay, since by looking at the equation, ang present lang po dito ay isang quadratic term. So, wala ka na pong ibang option or choices dyan, kundi yaan ay parabola. Okay? Kasi isa lang po yung present na quadratic term. Okay? Next example. So, tingnan natin yung mga terms natin kung sila ay lahat nasa left. So, yung x squared, okay, nasa left. Si 3x, hindi naman po natin kailangan. Si y, okay lang din yan. But the negative 4y squared ay nasa right. So, dapat po yan ay nasa kaliwa. Okay? So, since dapat nasa kaliwa yan, so magiging positive 4y squared po siya. Okay, so since both quadratic term are present, so may tatlo tayong option. Pwede siyang maging ellipse, circle, and hyper. So, identify muna natin yung A and C niya. So, ang A po natin dito ay 4. Ito po yun. Numerical coefficient for the x squared. B is 0. And then C is positive 4. Positive 4 na po siya kasi inilipat po natin siya sa kaliwa. Okay? Since A and C are both equal, so based on our condition, yaan ay circle. Okay? Next example. Okay, number 5. So we have 5x squared minus 20x plus 29 minus 18y is equals to negative 9 times y squared minus 5. So, tingnan po muna natin kung yung equation natin ay nasa left. Yung mga terms na kailangan natin ay nasa left. So, as you can see, wala pa po itong isa ay nandito pa sa kanan at nakaparenthesis po siya. So, distribute lang po natin muna yan. So, magkakaroon tayo ng negative 9y squared and then plus 45. And then, yung 9y squared po ay ililipat po natin yan sa kabilang side. So, magiging positive 9y squared. So, both quadratic term are present. So, ang option mo ay circle, ellipse, and hyper. So, identify muna natin yung A, B, and C. Ang A natin ay 5. Ang B natin is 0. And then, ang C po natin is positive 9. Positive 9 po siya kasi ililipat po natin itong negative 9y squared sa left side. Okay, kaya po positive 9y squared na siya. Okay, so A and C, tingnan po natin yung value ni A at nung C natin. So, since sila ay hindi equal, okay, ibig sabihin hindi na to circle. Ang option mo na lang ay si ellipse at hyper. Okay? Ngayon, paano mo malalaman kung ellipse ba or hyper? Ellipse siya kapag, ano nga daw kapag ellipse? Same sign. And hyperbola siya kapag opposite sign. Since pareho naman silang positive, ibig sabihin, ito po ay ellipse. Okay, same sign. Okay, next example, number 8. We have 3x times x plus 2 is equals to 18 minus 4y. So, yung 18, hindi naman natin kailangan. Si 4y, hindi rin. Pero itong isa ay may nakaparenthesis pa po yan. So, multiply lang po natin. So, meron tayong 3x squared plus 6x. Okay? So, as you can see, isa lang po yung present na quadratic term, which is yung ating 3x squared. Therefore, siya ay parabola. Diba? Based dun sa mga options natin, kapag isa lang po yung present na quadratic term, yan na po ay parabola. Okay? So, ang A natin ay C3, B is 0, C is 0. Okay, so both A and C are not equal to 0, therefore this is a parabola. Okay? So, once again, para malaman natin kung anong conic section ba ang isang equation, kapag both x squared and y squared are present, okay, ang option mo ay tatlo. Una, pwede mo masabing circle, pwede rin nating masabing ellipse, pwede rin nating masabing hyperbola siya. Okay? Ellipse siya, circle siya kapag ang value ng A and C natin ay equal. Kapag ellipse naman, si A and C are not equal. And hyper naman, pareho lang kay ellipse. Since pareho ang ellipse and hyper, paano natin siya ma-identify? Ellipse siya kapag same sign yung ating A and C. And then opposite sign kapag hyper. Okay, and then lastly, para ma-identify natin si parabola, either naman siya. Either x squared or y squared is present. And that is a parabola. Okay, so that's how we identify the equation if what type of conic section ba siya by looking at the quadratic terms. Okay, so again, thank you everyone, and I hope you learned something from our discussion about how to identify a conic section.